Hi and welcome to Naviswork training, and we are now at module 2 where we will be looking at using Clash Detective. And so the reason why we use Naviswork for Clash Detective is because the clashes between models of different disciplines are automatically pointed out by Naviswork. They will take a picture of it for you. You can add some comments, description, and you can even assign it to a particular individual. So compared with Revit, they have a better reporting features, as well as the clashes are automatically detected. So although BIM is kind of like a 3D model, but to kind of figure out where design or construction issues may arise, if we look at the 3D federated BIM model with our own eyes, we might not be able to get very far. Okay, basically because you need to cut a section box in every individual parts of the project to find if there's possible clashes, which will take a tedious amount of time and is never going to be as efficient. Okay, and that's why Naviswork is, I believe, the main purpose of Naviswork is to cover that gap that we have in this BIM ecosystem and implementation. Okay, so what I need you to do right now is open up folder number 3, and there is a file called federated model here, and it's NWF file, and those ARC01, 02, 03, those contains the NWC file, and they make up this file called the federated model NWF file here. So just open up the federated model file. Okay, so when you open it, the file looks something like that. Let's zoom out a little bit probably. Okay, and what we can do here is I need to open up this panel in the Home tab. This is Clash Detective. Go ahead and click on that. Okay. And here, you will see, once you click on Clash Detective, you probably place it on the left hand side. You will see test number 1. So this was already created in the file. This test was created. So what I need you to do here is to delete test number 1. Delete it, right click, and you find that the delete button is grayed out. So what you can do, run first, and then right click and press delete. Okay, so we're going to do our own test. Let's assume we start afresh. To create a test, do the add test button here, click on it, and that will be the test 1. So that was how test 1 was created, simply through the button over there. But if you add multiple tests, more than one kind of test, you can use this button located here. But right now we're just going to do one kind of clash. Okay, and the clash that we're going to do is we're going to check if there is any clashes between structural and mechanical equipments, particularly on level 1 of this project. Okay, so very specific, whether structural elements is clashing with mechanical equipments pertaining to level 1. Okay, so to do that, okay, you can see here under select here, by default it should be select tab here, selection A, selection B, standard. So if you open your selection tree, you notice that standards, this is the same kind of hierarchy over here, and compact property set. So they're actually the same thing from the selection tree. That's to show you the correlation here. Okay, we can close that at this point in time. We're going to change for selection A, set it to sets under the drop down menu, and I need to locate a few sets here. Okay, I need to scroll somewhere in the middle where you will see, where is it? One structural. Okay, here you go. So one structural floor, you have concrete or metal deck, one structural floor. So I want you to locate this one that says one structural. Okay, somewhere in the middle of this panel here. And there are a total of 7 sets that represents the structural elements of level 1. Use the shift key to select all 7 sets. So in the module number 1 of the Naviswork training, if you have missed out or forgot, please go back and watch those videos where we learn how to create selection sets and search sets. So these are all search sets because they have the binoculars icon. Okay, so I've selected the structural elements on level 1. 1 meaning level 1. Okay, this is how they name their set. So 2 means elements on level 2. So on selection B, I also want you to change it to sets, but this time I want you to find, let me see here, one mechanical equipment. Yeah, so mechanical equipments on level 1. Okay, just this alone. So it's basically 7 sets that make up the structural elements against the mechanical equipment on level 1 specifically. Okay, once you have selected them, okay, and I want you to make sure that this is set as hard. Okay, this is set as hard, and this shall be 0.001. I believe if it's the first time you are using Naviswork for clash detection, or the first time in Naviswork with the clash detection panel on, then this should have been hard and 0.01 by default. So I'm just changing back because to follow the training curriculum here. Okay, and the rest just not change anything else, just hard and 0.001. Do a run test, and you should see a total of 8 clashes. Okay, 8 clashes in total. And what you can do here is each time you click on the different rows, they will bring you to the different clashes. Okay, so one of the elements with red, one is in green, but they both represents they're clashing with each other, right? Okay, so you just go through the rows, try to play with it here. Okay, and so other than viewing clashes, okay, you can see it's clash 1 to 8. They don't really have any particular names. Okay, I want you to open this panel. If you do not have this panel, you need to click here, display settings. Okay, so once it's turned on here, we are going to go through, let's say, you can see here, one of the items in your clash will be red and one will be green. You can change the status to be use status color. Okay, so if you change the use status color, you will see that both are in red. So what is use status color? In Naviswork for clashes, there are a total of 5 status. You can see here, status new, status active, status review, status approved, status resolve. So there's 5 different status of a clash, and all of them have different colors. I'm just going to show you. Active is orange, review is blue, this is approved is green, and resolve is yellow. So all these colors represents the status of the clash, and you can see now is clash 1 is resolved. You can see on the screen the 3D is yellow in color. Okay, so that will indicate this function over here, use status colors. Right now I'm going to change it back to use item colors as okay. And you can choose to hide others, meaning that right now this is clash number 1. You just press on hide others, and you see that all the rest of the elements are being hidden. Most of the time you do not want that to happen because it would be impossible to know. You need some context to figure out where does this clash belong. So you normally just select dim others instead of hide others. Okay, and other than that, okay, let's say you want to go back to the clashes. Just click on it. It will reorientate you to the clash again. Okay. Lighting isolation viewpoint. Okay, and what we're going to do next is we're going to export this, okay, to a much more user-friendly format. Here we have 8 clashes, and we want to extract them as we're going to create a clash report. Go to click on the button report, and just going to make sure all the items are the same. I just want to make sure all of them are being checked here, but that should be the default settings. I've been playing around with Naviswork in different projects, and I'm using different settings, but I believe if you are first time opening Naviswork, this will be somewhat similar to the settings that you have. Okay, and for report format, I'm going to need you to choose HTML. Okay, and there's nothing else that I need you to click here. Okay, just go ahead and write report, where you're basically saving this file as the HTML format. Okay, so I'm saving in folder 3, that will make it easier to find. So it'll be test1. I'll call it test1, and I'll save it in folder number 3. Okay, so this HTML is pretty fast. You can see it takes less than 5 seconds to get the HTML format. Go open folder number 3. Wait a minute. Okay, here you go. Test1. So in folder number 3, click on test1. It will open up with your browser. Okay, so this is the settings for your test on the top, and each box represents each clashes here. Okay, and you can see if the picture as well. You can just click on it to enlarge it. Okay, how do I get back? Press the back button. Okay, and you can see when it's created, where's the location of the clash, what is the ID of the elements. So you can use this ID in Revit to find that particular element that needs to be fixed. Okay, so you can control the information that you want to bring out in the clash report, and the way that you control is now going back to, where is Naviswork here? Okay, going back to Naviswork, the way you control the information that you want to export is on the report tab, and just pick whatever you want to be included in your report here. Okay, so I'm not going to change much, but when you get more experience and you want a particular kind of export format, you can adjust it here. Okay, so see you in the next video, and we will still be talking or going through more in-depth portions of clash detection. Thank you.